Hey everybody, and welcome to the Astronaut Lounge. I'm Poppa Stonks, and today we have Ethereal Nodes with us. Ethereal Nodes is obviously a node project that aims to create passive income for their holders through multiple revenue streams. With that said, I will get some introductions out of the way. We have Patrick with us, we have Cuzzo. Anybody else that wants to introduce themselves after can. Let's start with Patrick. Patrick, introduce yourself. Give us a little history of your background and what made you want to start this project. What gave you the vision for this project?
Well, that story seems to be getting around quite a bit lately, but I was in the automotive industry for 20 years, and I did really well. But it was always trading time for money, 60-hour, 70-hour work weeks, and the money was good, but it caused problems with relationships. Um, and it takes over your whole life. So uh, I got into crypto maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe longer. And my first couple go arounds I didn't do so well. And then the third time I did really well. I turned about 20 grand into 4.4 million in about 6 to 8 months, somewhere in that time frame. And so I retired, and I put all my effort into that, and I realized I'm not really accomplishing my goal. I'm in front of a computer screen all the time. I'm still trading time for money. So I went out to look for a passive income project, whether it be mining or a token or just anything that could make you money while you're doing something else, whether it be while you're sleeping or just enjoying your life, uh, friends, family, all that kind of stuff. And I finally decided on Strong Block, which was a crypto token that was um, Node as a service. They call it NAS. Um, and uh, about a month into it, I dumped everything into it. Right, about a month into it, it's crashing. I could see it. It went from $600 a token to $300 a token. So I tried to get a hold of David Moss. He's the CEO of Strong Block, um, and I did some math, and I felt I had uh, a good formula to correct this token from crashing to zero because that was my math. There was no income generation. Nodes, they don't generate income. They're just a snapshot of the blockchain, right? So um, basically, it was Ponzi tokenomics. It was uh, the new investors are paying for the old investors, but once new investors stop rolling in, they don't have any form generation of income, right? So I did some math, uh, tried to reach out to him on every platform, and finally he responded to me and just said he wasn't interested in hearing any fixes to his platform. And I said that's fine, but then I'm gonna make my own token, and I'll make it successful, and I will bring this up at every AMA, every interview, every time somebody asks me about my token, I will bring this conversation up and what happened, right? So that was the motivation behind this, and the execution behind this was just to do the opposite. Basically, we're our goal, and what we've done, and the tech that we've actually came up with and completed uh, is is based on not relying on new users, right? Not relying on users to come up with the money to generate uh, more income. It's based on uh, we have these three bots. We have what's called an arbitrage bot, which is not really a classic form of arbitrage. It's more of like a smart rebalancing bot, and that's one of a one. No, there's not another bot out there built the same way, right? So basically, we decided to go on Ethereum, and we pair our token's liquidity to the top 51 tokens on Ethereum. And basically, how it works is the liquidity is what gives your token its value, right? So when you pair it to 51 pairs, that would be kind of the opposite of what you would think to do, being that, let's say you're paired with Matic. Matic might go up, it might go down, it could drag your token all over the place. But what I realized is what it trades with in each liquidity pair gives you an opportunity to rebalance or arbitrage, and you could have your bot, which is what we made. It will sell off whenever something raises. So let's say our token is trading at $30 a token with USDC, but with Matic, we're trading at $40 a token because Matic went up 30% for the day. What our bot will do is it'll sell off our own token's liquidity. So it'll sell off the real token and it'll buy whatever is down for the day. So what that does is it always buys more tokens than it sells, and it increases your market cap, your liquidity, your overall token price, and so that's where the foundation of the income generation came from. But that wasn't stable enough for me, because we have stop losses built in, so a Terra Luna situation doesn't take us down, right? But I wanted something more powerful than that. So we came up with some other strategies, like we have a front running bot, and we have a mining facility that we are loading up. We're donated this mining facility to somebody who's involved in the project, so we don't have to pay rent, and the electricity is taken care of, so we don't have those type of expenses. So we are taking on miners from other people and splitting rewards with them, and we're buying our own miners, but we're loading up this facility, and then we will. What we do with that is all of the tokens that are mined will buy back our own token in that one liquidity pair, driving that price up through the roof, causing the arbitrage bot to hyperactivate, and that's what really gets it going. It's to the power of it's multiplying. It's not adding into, right. That's the integration of how these two other forms of income work with the arbitrage bot is really what makes, I think, this special, right? So, and then at the end of that, what happens is we just burn the tokens that we buy, right? Which makes it good, which lowers the circulating supply and increases the token's value even more. Part of the front running bot will load up some liquidity on the back end. Part of it will go towards the buyback and burn, and then all of the mining income generated will be going towards the buyback and burn. So that's basically how the whole concept works. It's basically I wanted something that actually works, a passive income that actually works. That was the goal.
One hell of an introduction.
Hey, thanks.
Does anybody else from the team want to introduce themselves real quick? You don't have to give the whole rundown on the project, but just a quick introduction, and then we can dive back into the project itself.
Hey, Papa.
Hey, friend, how are you?
Sorry, good. Sorry, I have a little bit of noise. It's Papa. I'm not sure I can go to introduction. Sorry.
No,
So my
that's
name is
fine.
Francis, but I would like to say my name is Francis. I do the market the whole team of Ethereal Docs. You can find all our information on the website as well. I'm sorry, guys, that I have a sick baby. It's Poppa, not Papa.
Tell her I said hi.
He's saying hi.
Hey, Papa, I could try to introduce the entire team. This is Cuzzo, by the
Yeah,
way, if that's okay. Just for the
yeah,
record.
that's fine, Dave. That's fine.
Yeah, my name is Cuzzo, guys, and I've been in crypto space for a few years now. I come from the world of real estate and asset management, and I know Papa knows a lot about that stuff. Um, I'm inherently a stock trader, options trader. I still do, but I've been involved in crypto, in projects, NFT projects, and meme projects, smart contracts for a while. Pretty much know everyone who's who in our space, and I serve as an advisor on this team. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the liberty to introduce some of the people here, so people who are listening to the recording can understand who's involved and what's going on. Fran just introduced herself. She is the Chief Marketing Officer. Chris, who is not on this AMA right now, he serves as the Chief Technology Officer. Patrick, you guys have already heard from. Hulk is here, but sometimes he's shy. He is your finance guy. Anybody needs to know where the money's going and how much is being raised, the private sale, all that stuff, who gets paid what and how, that's his job. But it's a really large team. I think it's about 15 or 17 people that I've counted at one point. There's some advisors, great advisors like DS Crypto, Big Kid from MMKK Group, Nate, and there is what do you call they're also outsourced, some people that are considered part of the team, like Fifth Web, who's created some of these bots and the dApps. I know I'm forgetting some people. Oh yes, I can't forget the TG managers, all our mods and admins. It's a really rather large team, so I don't want to take too much time about that. So that's your team, Papa. What else? What am I missing? I think that's it.
Yep. And then there's Trace Flames too. Uh, so he is one of the developers on here.
Yes, the Fifth Web is his company. That's the
Oh
company
yes,
that
that's
was
right.
hired to develop some of this technology that Pat and his partner Carl, who are the founders of it, who came up with this idea, and they put it down on the paper, and then they had to go out and get people who can actually build this and code it. So that's the deal with Ethereal Nodes.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So, well, with all that said, thank you, Cuzzo. Appreciate that. You know, Hulk's not too shy. He just doesn't like to talk. Um, but all right, so let's dive into the project. So, Ethereal Nodes. Um, you know, just to get it out there, full disclosure, this is a V2. So what exactly happened with V1 and why, you know, can you tell me what stopped it from succeeding? And why did we need to go to a V2?
I could tell you, Cuzzo, everybody that you just mentioned right there is the reason why we needed a V2. Um, I had no contacts in the crypto space. I was just, dealing with from the trading side of it, and I didn't know any devs or uh, anybody. I had no contacts, so we will set out to build this thing, and the developer we had couldn't really make the bot work, and we really needed an upgrade in team. And my gosh, I couldn't have asked for a better upgrade. Like I'm still, blown away to this day that we've gotten to where we've gotten with the team. I think that's the biggest part more than anything else. Um, and showing me how to do, showing me how to operate certain things, showing me how to do uh, the right way to do things, not to get scammed on Telegram like I did a few times, like everybody does when they first start out, right? So um, that that's the biggest reason. I mean, it's the quality of our staff. Fifth Web, Tress Flames, he's amazing. He was able to build a bot that we were working on for 3 months. He gave us it was expensive, but for very good reason. He gave us a 3-week deadline, and he built the bot in 8 days. He ran it on testnet since December and made 67 ETH off of a couple liquidity pairs, and it works 99.97% efficiency to how it was designed. Plus, he made some improvements. Like there was, he had a more eloquent way of incorporating a stop loss. So if somebody tanks, they don't take you down with them. Than we had before. So, we blended some of our ideas together. But I'll let Cuzzo speak on a little bit more about it. But it's really just the team and the experience, and we launched on Polygon, which is a smaller network, knowing that we were going to mess up. We were not, we were going to make mistakes. It wasn't going to be perfect, because I was very aware that when we first started out, I did not know what I was doing. From an execution standpoint, I'm not a developer. So yeah, I knew there was going to be some growing pains, and I still think to this day that we gave that first AMA in the MMKK room, and we got our team. We met in London. We met in person from all around the world. Got to know each other, and just made this wonderful thing. Everybody in the project has had a major role, a major part of the success. There isn't anybody that has been riding the coattails of somebody else. Everybody's put in a lot of effort and work to get us to this point. Like for instance, Rain. We forgot to mention Rain, but he's out there grinding on all of our social media platforms. I think we've actually increased the number from it was 17, 19. I think now we have 24 employees, believe it or not. So
Yeah, man, that's huge. So, speaking of the team, just real quick, how are the team compensated? Is their team pay? Are they getting paid in nodes and tokens, or are they just getting paid in, stables or Ethereum?
So there's certain things that, like when you outsource that and they're not like part of your company, you'd like to pay them in nodes. Not everybody's going to accept that. So like building the arbitrage bot was something that we had to come out of pocket with, which we did. My co-founder and I have put almost $1 million of our own money into this so far. But no, the company is a non-for-profit. So myself, my partner, the employees, we get paid the same way the investors do. So if we fail, you fail. If you fail, we fail. So we don't take that 30% off the top like all these other passive income projects do to pay a company that's not really necessary. You know what I mean? Like if you have a successful project that is designed to only trend up, getting paid via that project is more lucrative anyway. So it's not really I need to win, so you need to lose model. It's not that national model of greed of how business is generally done. It's collaborative, cooperative thing. You know what I mean? So it's a different way to do business, and I think together is better. I just think it works better, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a slave to a job or to anybody. I want to do what I want to do, right? So
Oh no, 100%. And I'm doing my only job right now. So, I'm full-time crypto all the time. And I have my lounge and I trade, and I also work for another project that you know of.
right.
um, okay. So yes, you want the team needs the project to succeed to make money. So are they? So they are getting nodes, I'm guessing, to get that income coming in. And is anybody getting any tokens as well? Because I see that the founder spot is for tokens. Um, so
Well,
how does that?
you make tokens via the nodes. The nodes pay you
Right,
passive passive income via the native token, right? So you get paid X amount of tokens per day, depending on which level node you decide to invest in. Um,
right.
so the I didn't mean to build it this way, but I realized this after I built it. I built it like a co-op, so there was no real way to pay myself or my partner. So yeah, we have nodes just like everybody else, and but this is
How
designed for you to
many
be able.
how
Say it
many
again.
nodes how many nodes were you allocated?
So the founder nodes were designed for just myself and Carl because we're the founders, and that's all we were going to use. But we're not planning on taking any profits from this. Our goal is to any type of income we can pull out of this project, buy more miners, put more money into the front running bot for it to work because the way a front running bot works is it needs a lot of money to be able
Right,
to front run those big trades. So for this to work, we can't take these profits. We got to live basically, pay bologna sandwiches and
ramen
until it
noodles.
gets big, basically.
You on the ramen noodles diet for until it gets big. I got
That
you.
it's worth it. You know what I mean? It just is. Sacrifice now is worth what you want to do later.
Well, 100%. But, in the meantime, those nodes don't stop generating those tokens as they come in. So, that's not really like going back into the project, even if you're not selling them. Um, it's not going back into the project. That's kind of the point I was getting at.
Well,
Um,
if we were to sell the tokens, in other words, to give an example, so uh, one of the weird things is technically how this can work is if you sell, let's say you have your node and you sell your tokens and you exchange it for USDC. Well, uh, Real will trade with USDC for now a lower price than what another liquidity pair will trade for, which causes a rebalancing arbitrage opportunity. So by you selling the token off, it could actually increase the value of our token, as weird as that sounds, right? So if we are to sell off any of our tokens that we receive from our nodes, we would use that in fiat to buy more miners because the more money we could pump in as buy pressure with the buyback and the burn, the larger it grows, the faster it grows, the more money everybody makes, including ourselves. It's really well executed, really well designed. It's secure. We have a 5-person multi-sig wallet, but it's automated, so we shouldn't even need to get into the wallet. That's in case there's an emergency or some malfunction or error. Um, the circulating supply is only going to be what's connected to liquidity, right? So there's going to be 150 million tokens printed initially, but they're not going to be in the circulating supply. They're going to be into the wallet. And what happens is that wallet will then distribute to the nodes as they earn per day, right? So it pushes those tokens to the nodes. while the arbitrage bot pulls the tokens when it needs to buy more against a liquidity pair. So it's kind of a circle, and it's automated. And our four main things are I bring these four things up all the time because this is our company, right? So it's to be sustainable, it's to be automated, it's to be eliminate risk, and to beat sell pressure. And the last one sounds crazy, but it's just math, right? So if you pump in enough buy pressure, there's no sell pressure that can defeat you, especially when it gets multiplied instead of added, right? So by doing the buyback burn and how it mixes with the arbitrage bot, rebalancing it's to the power of so you a $50,000 buyback and burn, which is a goal we're trying to get to at some point, is to make $50,000 a day in just our mining operation. That $50,000 buyback and burn, even if we did have to pay electricity and electricity cost was $100,000 a day, it would still be profitable because of how it hyper activates the arbitrage bot, because it multiplies. It doesn't just add into, right? So it's how we did the math that really makes this special.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So just a little bit more on the V1 real quick, and we can get past that. So how much was raised for V1? And when you did end up calling it on V1 and pulled the liquidity, how much was recovered from that?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and how many holders are going to be airdropped, and are they going to be airdropped nodes, tokens? Are there going to be any vesting schedules on those tokens? How is that going to work as far as just the V1 holders?
So if we didn't reach a certain amount of money, we were considering doing like a couple week vesting period, but I think we passed the minimum that we needed to hit. So there will be no vesting period. And frankly, the 77 to 86 holders of the V1, the major holders, the larger buy-ins, they're holders anyway, right? So they believe in the project. I have our largest investor has watched every AMA, listened to every AMA. I talk to him frequently.
Pretty sure that's from the KC Mafia.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and so
right.
there were a couple investors from there, and they had some large investments in it, and obviously they did get a much better price on the token. So if you're launching the token at what is the token going to launch at? 20 a token or 30?
$30 a token is what it's going to launch at, and
those investors paid about what, $10 a token?
It ranged. We only had about a $5,000 to $10,000 sale at about $11 a token for a master node for just a private sale for our originating group, because that's where we got our staff from. But it wasn't a large earn from that. But yes, but what we did was we are. My biggest fear is to lose people money, or for people to think we lack integrity in any way, shape, or form. So the people that invested before from the KC Mafia are going to be reimbursed the difference between what that private sale price was and what they bought in for. So if, let's say, some of them bought in for $20 when they bought in, then they will receive almost double the amount of nodes they had, right? So, yeah, we're not letting anybody lose anything. We took a loss, but I'm okay with that. Like that's
Yeah, I
the
mean, I get, I get where you're coming from. I really do. But at the same time, I personally don't think that is very fair to the V2 investors that without them, the KC Mafia would just be out on their ass. They would get zero back. And, I don't think it's really fair to the V2 investors to do that personally. I mean, I don't know
to
if
give
you
them
have
the same
any
the same
to
price.
give, well, to give them, they're getting double the amount that, a
Okay,
V2 investor is getting.
that's not what I meant. I phrased it incorrectly. So they're just getting the price and at which we gave the private sale for, as they were part of it, right? So people that invested all that money at $30 a token, and then we shut it down right away, and then we relaunch and do a private sale at $11 a token. We adjusted their pricing to the same to match that, right? So we wanted to do what was fair for everybody, right? So they're not getting more than like the V2 people. They're just getting the same price as the V2 people. They're not paying more than what the V2 people did, which wouldn't be fair to them, right? So we thought that was the most fair way to do it, was give everybody the same price. Does that make sense?
Okay, well that makes a little more sense. Just the way you worded it the first time,
I
man, it
worded
just
it.
sounded
Yeah.
sounded
Sorry,
horrible.
lack of sleep, lack of sleep. But
Right.
that's the math behind it. Is I
And
mean,
so are they getting nodes or are they getting tokens?
no, they've been all invested in nodes. Even if we were to give them tokens, they would turn them into nodes. So we gave them the choice. They chose nodes. So that's what makes the most sense, because having loose tokens, you can sell them when the price goes up, but you sell them once, right? So
Right.
whereas if you turn them into nodes, it's a passive income, and as long as the system doesn't break down and it keeps trending up, you get paid on those tokens forever. So they believe in the project, and they believe in math, because that's what there's three things you need to believe in the project. One, you need to believe in math. Number two, you would need to believe in the integrity of the people that are running it. And number three, you would need to believe that the whole market is not going to crash to zero all at the same time, because those are the only three ways to fail.
Right.
And if there's another way, I'm all ears. But for the last 7 months, I've tried to figure out how to break the thing, right? Because, like I said, the thing that would scare me the most is losing other people's money. That keeps me up at night. So all I do is think of other ways to add more income into the project, to make it even better. Like that's what I spend most of my time doing, along with these AMAs.
So let me ask you this: do you have any large investors from V1 that do not want to have nodes? They just want to have the tokens. You know,
No,
are,
we
are
don't have
there?
any.
You don't have anybody that owns almost 300 or 3,000 tokens that doesn't want to convert to nodes?
Not that I know of, unless they were purchased outside my knowledge. The largest holder of the largest purchasers of the token and the nodes, they they didn't want tokens. They wanted nodes. If there might be some people that I don't know about, but the people I know about, they all chose to. I'm speaking specifically of the KC Mafia, because they put in more than anybody
Right.
by far, and all of them are just they call me, they reach out to me frequently, like, when are we launching? When are we launching? Excited about it, right? So, but it's they're just excited. I want to launch. We have the ability to launch whenever we want to, but it's about the amount that we raise. If we raise enough, then we can put enough money into the buy and burn function, which makes the project completely sustainable and risk free. I do not want to launch underfunded. It won't work if that's the case. With that
No,
being
Hey,
said,
100%.
we
hey,
still are
Pat and
planning.
Papa, if I could just jump in real quick,
Go
guys.
ahead.
Okay.
Hey, Cuzzo,
Um,
yeah, please.
I had I was reviewing some things with Chris, who is actually doing the contract and airdrops and deciphering all the information from V1 or not. He did mention that there was one holder from V1 that had a decent amount of tokens. I cannot say how many.
It was
He
about
did.
2,700.
I'm not sure if it was 27. I don't know the numbers. If you remember correctly, that's fine. So there is one that person did not want it to convert it to Node, and Chris was still working through that. But he also did mention that there were a large amount of tokens that were purchased on V1 that are not qualified to get any airdrops or any nodes because some of them had bought it after the notification in TG that the liquidity was being pulled. I think it was around 22nd of December or whatnot. So
Yeah.
he is in charge of going through each and every wallet that is associated with V1. There is a qualification criteria that you had to meet in order to get the any tokens airdrop. What he also said was the majority of the holders only have nodes, and it's value-based drops of nodes to them, as Patrick outlined, depending
Right.
on where you bought it. But as far as the token airdrops that you brought up, it's not an issue except maybe one or two holders that they are going to work with and find out if they're willing to vest it on a weekly or bi-weekly airdrops or not. But as it stands right now, that person wanted all his tokens, and there is one holder. So I want to make sure I speak on what we know for a fact.
That's
Thank
good
you,
because I
Cuzzo.
didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah, I obviously I did have that information beforehand, so that's kind of why I brought it up. And thank you for clarifying that, Cuzzo. And yes, hopefully that there can be some kind of vesting schedule for that. Obviously, if he's a long-term holder, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter, and I
On a
wanted people
linear
to.
vesting.
Right, sorry to cut you off in there, but I wanted to make sure that we kind of get that on a recording because it's not that, how come Patrick doesn't know or anything like that, because the way the team is designed, certain people are in charge of doing certain things and the other people are left to work on other stuff. When it comes to contract, tokens, airdrops, V1, V2, it's all Chris. He's the one who's going to do it. So he has this whole list that he's been working on weeks, and he's shown it that this is going to be qualified, this is not going to be qualified. So that's why I can say that Patrick is not involved really hands-on when it comes to those things. That is job of Chris. Just like when it
Patrick's
comes
the
to
pretty face.
finances, yeah. And that's why when it comes to finances, that's all Hulk, and that's why the team has the multi-sig 3 out of 5 confirmation mechanism so no money gets in or out without at least 3 people confirming it. So I want to get that on the record.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
100%.
you.
And I know everybody on that multi-sig, so I have zero worries as far as any of that goes. My only issue was just the loose tokens, not the nodes at all, because obviously those nodes pay out, in portions. They don't pay out all at once. You're not getting, you know, 3,000 tokens all at once, but there is somebody out there that will get that. And, it's So just round it off to 3,000 tokens. I think it's a little less than that, but round it off, it's about 90K that he would possibly be able to rip from liquidity right at launch.
That's
If that
okay.
was if that
That's
was to
okay.
happen.
Right.
Yeah,
We're
and like you said, yes, the arbitrage bot would go crazy. The arbitrage
right.
bot would be you have a heyday with it. So
Plus,
yeah, so
we're pumping in that buy pressure anyway. So if that person
right,
chooses to sell that at that point, I don't think that would be a smart decision for that person. But there's nothing stopping them from doing that. By all means, if that's what you feel you should do it. It's not going to hurt the project overall. There may be a day where if we don't have a big enough raise to begin with, that could lower the token price for a little bit, but it's not going to stay there. It'll just go right
right.
back up. So it's
No,
okay.
no, 100%. I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to, like Cuzzo said, it's best to have it on the recording. Everybody can come back and listen to this, and and go from there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm glad I found out because I had no idea. Not even a single clue of that.
So let's actually get into the revenue streams. So we've got three revenue streams. We have the arbitrage bot, we've got the Bitcoin mining, and we've got the front run bot. All right. Do you know how much it takes to run each one of these? Like the front run bot, obviously you said yourself, it takes a lot of capital to make it worthwhile. How much capital does it take, and how much do you have to put into that to run that bot?
So the bot itself is pretty expensive. On top of that, um, for it to be it needs to be over $100,000 because you have to have a certain amount of actual nodes, which is the snapshot of the blockchain. Uh, so it's fast enough to pull off the trade, because what a front running bot does is it's got a snap of the blockchain. So if a whale puts $1 million buy on Ethereum to get a little bull run going on it, and then as other people buy in, they sell off and they make a quick 25 grand or whatever it is. Our front running bot will buy before it by raising the gas fee a tick, and then it'll sell immediately after it, sandwiching that whale, and make a quick $75,000 in a second, right? But in that situation,
Right,
that bot would need to be funded with $1 million, right? So
right,
that's not going to happen, right at launch. I think last time I checked, our total raise was at 263,000. We also have money that we pulled from liquidity, which was over I want to say 100 to 120,000. Plus, there's money that myself and my co-founder will be putting in at launch. So we've already hit the necessary number we need, but I'd like more, and there's some opportunity for more. The information about our company is just getting out there, right? So to launch
right.
prematurely without really letting this letting the legs loose, I think would be a bad idea. The more it's funded, the better.
Well,
And
100%, and you're right. You have reached a threshold to where you could launch and currently only just run the arbitrage bot. I know you guys have some miners already, but as far as like on the website, it was claiming the mining could get to 1.5 Bitcoin, I think, a day or something, and you would
that's our
need
goal. Yes,
millions. You would need millions of dollars in miners to pull that off. How
two
many
two point
miners? I'm like,
$2.1 million worth of miners. Yes,
right.
but we
So
have
yeah, so
a
how many miners do you currently have? How many? Like, what's your terahash rate?
So because we don't have an issue with paying any bills, we did not. We just worried about terahash per dollar when we were buying the miners. So right now
Uh-huh.
we're up to only 50, which is nowhere close, which is why we're still doing this. But in addition to that, we're also offering for other people to run their miners at our facility, and we split the tokens made off of it, because a lot of people, 70-80% of miners have either been turned off or they're being sold because they're not profitable due to electricity, right? So
Right.
we don't have that problem. So filling this place with miners doesn't have to necessarily come from a raise, right? And we've got 2 to 3 different organizations looking at filling our whole facility with the amount of miners we need to be able to do the 1 point. It's actually it was 1.25, and then 0.25 was supposed to be generated via the converter bot between BTC to ETH
Right.
on a daily basis. So that would equal 1.5. Now, that's an example. We don't need to make that much. It could be 0.5 and it'll grow to 1.5. But my plan, I mean, I could tell you, my team hates when I bring all this stuff up, but I have plans of trying to make my own ASIC miners, right? Because the technology out there is just, they're not giving it to us fast enough. The way they build the AI boards using silicon photonics, the way Apple does uses light instead of electricity,
Mm-hmm.
and they're building the little GPU units that on that Apple Silicon board, they're just one flat board. Well, with AI works the same way as mining. It has to do these billions of computations through neural nets. And so what they did was they just took the same principle that Apple had, and then they stacked GPU cores up on top of each other. So they still take advantage of the speed of everything being close together and using light to take advantage of speed over power, but then they add the power to it by stacking those chips on top of it. So what I'm really looking into right now, because we have some really good connections. I can't mention the person's name, but very well versed in AI, and if I can get the right connections, I'm not going to be able to sell the miners, but I can reverse engineer how the AI chip and boards work, and then build our own miners and get
Right.
a crazy amount of terahash, probably 1/4 of what a fully stocked building would get out of one miner. That's how big of a difference it would be, right? So,
I mean that sounds awesome. I mean, you can definitely keep that in the works and keep that in the plans, and let me know if you can do it, because I want to buy one.
well, I can't sell it, but we could talk about
I
that
want to
off
steal
air. I
one
mean, I
then.
could probably donate it to you. Wink, wink.
There we go. I was gonna say I
Wink,
want to
wink.
steal one then.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, gifted. Gifted is the right word. Gifted.
so you're talking about people would want to use your facility obviously for electric costs, and yeah, there we go. Gift it to me. But yeah, so they would want to use the facility for the electric costs and everything else. What makes your facility better than any others? Are you guys using green energy? What kind of energy consumption are you guys using?
It's not about the energy consumption. It's more about the business it's attached to. Um, he's kind of a silent partner, so I can't say too much about it. But he runs a
No, I
large
mean,
company.
yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, like, where is the energy coming from? Is it coming from green? Is it coming from wind turbines, solar, hydroelectric? Is it green energy that you're using that is a lot more sustainable and cheaper? And actually, is this facility in the U.S.?
Yes, the facility is right here in San Diego, where we are. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, it's in a grid where electricity cost is super low. Number three, we don't have to do this, but we want to do this. It's a large facility. It's not just our warehouse, and it has a
Okay.
lot of real estate to put a lot of solar up, right?
Uh-huh.
And we have like not one of our staff, but we have people that are invested and people helping us, that can do rezoning, that can help us file for grants, connections to our senator or our governors.
Mhm.
Like we've made a lot. We started with no connections. We have a lot now, right? So the
That's
idea
awesome.
is to go as green as possible, because that makes the most sense. But that's also why I want to build my own ASIC miners, because the using silicon photonics takes takes away the energy cost in general for mining, and makes it a fraction of what it is right now, right? So
Right. Yeah, and that's awesome. My only concern with the whole green energy thing, obviously if you can afford to do it, I don't care what kind of electricity you use personally. But you know, the EPA was just given purview over crypto mining. So they are going to be the ones that are going to be jumping in to regulate crypto miners in the U.S. And that's why I asked if it was in the U.S.
good
Um,
question. Yes, good question. Is we have enough real estate uh, to outfit the person that has given us this facility without charge, kind of owns the whole area, right? So we have so much real estate to put up solar. Well, that won't totally solve the problem of electricity. They're already running a lot of electricity with all the what they're already using producing,
right.
right? So they're in other businesses and they're already producing a ton of electricity. So in a perfect world, I cut down. We come out with our own ASIC miners. We cut down the electricity and we put up enough solar, and it evens itself out. Is that possible? I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't promise anything. We're
Right.
really in the early stages of that, but I can tell you, um, just like how this grew out of nothing, that's all the ideas I've had and incorporated started like this, and I don't stop until I make them a reality, right? So, um,
100%. So yeah, I mean everything is still a work in progress. You're still building. So just currently, with the miners that you do have and the overhead that you do have, with the electricity costs and everything, how much revenue is coming in on a, say, a monthly basis from these Bitcoin miners that you currently have?
we literally just had the install of the we had to rewire the whole facility, so I don't have an exact number. But there's no cost to us. We have no overhead, so that's why we were offering other miners to house at our facility. And one of our investors is the owner of the facility, and he gave it to us rent free and covering the electricity as part of his company, which is a multi-million-dollar company. And if anybody wants to run their miners at our facility, whatever miner you have, if it's negative, it's automatically profitable. Even though you're splitting half of the rewards with us, you have no overhead. We have no overhead. It's all going to the burn and earn with no overhead whatsoever.
Okay. Therein lies a huge problem. Okay. So basically, unless this guy is claiming these Bitcoin miners as his own, as part of his company, and then he is, essentially, it's tax fraud because that energy that he is using for his company is being, written off on his taxes, and the extra consumption of energy uh, going into, his saying it's part of his business and giving it to you guys for free. He is actually, you know,
He's
he's
not
committing tax
charging
fraud.
us. Well, he's not charging us, but he's also not
He's
giving
not
it to us
charging
for
you,
free
but he
because
is. It is still
he's
part of
getting
his business.
compensated. Well, yes, and he's claiming it. It's not like he's not claiming
Okay.
it. He's disclosing everything. I can tell you, his background goes to a very ethical and I can't tell you exactly what he did, but military background, a background that he doesn't cut corners and he does everything the right way. So there's zero chance of that happening. Everything will be disclosed properly, and he's invested in the project and believes in it. That's why he's done it. But like I said in the beginning, even if we had to pay electricity and we lost money on it, it would still be worth doing because it multiplies, right? So not that actually wasn't that wasn't our goal, was to get the overhead paid for. It was just a coincidence that we ran into that
Right. No,
opportunity.
100%. I'm just, I'm just looking at the legal aspect of it,
Yeah,
trying to see if there are any, any faults as far as, can these miners be taken away? Can they be confiscated for tax fraud? And, if he is, because those are creating revenue. Those
right.
miners are creating revenue that he is paying the electricity for, and unless he is paying it out of pocket and not through his company, then that electricity then becomes part of his company and it is getting wrote off on taxes, but zero revenue coming in from them, but revenue being created. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if he claims that
If he
the
claims he
revenue that
owns those miners, then he would have to claim the revenue from the
right.
miners.
Right, exactly. That's what he would do, right? So he would claim the revenue that is made. So that's why we have to
So
keep
obviously, yeah,
exact
he's an
detail.
investor, but that would be costing him out, you know, out the I would keep it clean, out the wazoo.
Yes, it's not inexpensive, but that's we sat down with him for I don't know, 3 days, hours and hours and hours, and went through the math with him, and that's uh, that's how much he understands and believes in the project. But I could tell you that if it was not beneficial for him, then we would pay the monthly cost just like we pay the monthly cost on the nodes.
Right.
Either way, the thing is the electricity cost in his zone is super inexpensive anyway. So electricity just isn't our
Yeah, no, I get it. Especially around that area, there are a lot of wind farms, and those are creating a lot of extra energy that it does lower the cost of energy in that area. Especially Southern California, Texas, those areas have a lot of wind farms, and they are creating extra energy.
Yeah,
So
there's actually some right down the street.
right. So
So
yeah, that's where the lower energy cost is coming from. I completely understand all that. Um, so yeah, okay. Well, I guess you answered all that. So
you brought up good
essentially,
points, though. You brought up very good
yeah,
points, and I love to have those questions because if I hadn't thought of something, I need to know what I haven't thought of, right? So,
right.
while this one we definitely did, maybe there is one that I haven't. So please fire away if you can think of anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I have a
I kind
question.
of think I kind of think on the fly. Hey, Robert, what's going on, man?
Hey,
Actually,
what's going on?
Robert is came here from the Coin Merge chat, and he had some investors that wanted to hear about Ethereal from yesterday's AMA. So I invited him here to listen to the live AMA and be able to ask some questions. But yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Thank you. I'm not as tech savvy as a bunch of y'all. I'm just your average Joe dad, just trying to, pick up other forms of passive income. But so I've already invested as part of the pre-sale and stuff, or private sale. How does
Awesome. Thank you.
somebody utilize? Of course, how does someone utilize their nodes? So if you're trying to bring in other buyers for the private sale and stuff, I would imagine some people, maybe like myself, not knowing how to utilize it once it launches, or is it literally just that buy the nodes and it's passive income at that point? Does that make sense?
It does. And if you were part of V1, you would be that would be the part that you'd be most excited about. And that's the part that was actually most missed while we had to rebuild everything. Was we have this DApp, and I think that it's the best version of a UI that anyone's come out with, and it tells you exactly how much you have in U.S. dollars for what the token price is, like a little chart, like you would on any exchange of how the token is done in the past 24 hours, an hour, 5 minutes, 3 months. It gives you that little chart, but it also tells you how many tokens you have in your wallet and what that would be in dollar figures. So it'll say you have $2,400 if you want to cash out right now, right? And then all you do is hit the cash out button, and it transfers those tokens right into your MetaMask wallet or into your Trust wallet. And then you could convert those on either our DEX or in the wallet or on Uniswap or anywhere you want into actual a stable token or whatever you want to trade it with, and then you could cash it out and put it right in your bank account. But the DApp is amazing. It shows you how much you've earned for your lifetime, how many nodes you have, what it breaks down the nodes you have. It'll show if you have any NFTs attached to them, which increases the rewards. So yeah, I did a lot of market study on what would be the most interactive way to build the interface for you to see your progress, and the theme behind it was really I'm sharing everything now, but the theme behind it was that I did for the market research was Gen Z. They like first-person shooter games that you can customize, like your guns and armor and whatever. I don't play video games, but that's kind of like what they're into. And the DApp was built with that theme in mind, for it to be very interactive, immersive, and for you to be able to customize and do different things like change your node, maybe upgrade it instead of buy a new node. You could the NFTs. Eventually, we want them to be able to change the name of your specific node so it's more personalized. We want to add. We don't have this feature in yet, but at some point we want to add in like a leaderboard, right, where you could name your DApp and you could see who's receiving the most tokens per day or the most income per day. You don't have to take part in that, but that's an option, right? Or you could see who has the highest earning node, because the different NFTs are going to give you different reward increases, right? So just making it more interactive and more exciting. But that was from my friends, my family, and people. That was what they missed the most, was looking at the DApp and the interface and seeing where they were at for the day and how much money they had in their wallet that they could cash out, what their total lifetime earnings were, all that stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks, Poppa Stonks. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, no problem, man. Did that answer your question?
For the most part. I hope I'm not the only one that's just not tech savvy in here.
Oh, no.
It's
I mean, there's a lot of... there are
I,
a
I was
lot of moving parts, in this project, and even myself, I don't understand some of it. Obviously, I know how front run bots work. I know how Bitcoin mining works. We are going to get into first before we get into all that. Since you just brought up the NFTs, do you want to go ahead and just touch on the NFTs? How are they purchased? What are they going to mint for? How are people going to get these NFTs to get that extra percentage coming in from the passive income?
Yeah, we'll be selling them like most NFTs. They'll be then you could trade them on OpenSea just like any other NFT, but basically you would stake them to your node, and that would create um, an increase in what your node produces per day, the percentage it produces, the amount of rewards it produces, and then there's going to be several different types to where you can stack a few together so you could really boost up your rewards. And so, yeah, that's something that we're excited about too. I've seen some of the art that they've drawn up. I'm no artist, but the art that they posted for the NFT ideas were really cool looking too. I was really impressed by that. But yeah, that'll be another way to add to your to the amount that you earn per day is the NFTs.
So, okay, so with these NFTs and the artwork, are there going to be rarities that give you
Yes.
extra percentages? And those are going to be like random mints, or you're just going to pay extra to mint one with the extra percentages?
So no, we've got a batch I think of 2,000 that are set to launch at release. They're not random, but there are going to be some that are connected um, to multiple nodes. Those would be more expensive than say ones that would be connected to just one node, right? So and then one will be more expensive if it's increased 5% than the one that's increased 10% or 25%. And if you could stack, then there would be a third category which allows you to augment your node and stack the two together. So at best case scenario, if you had 100 massive nodes, right, and you had the biggest NFT which covers 100 massive nodes, then you would that NFT would be ridiculously expensive. And if you were able to buy stack two of those together, you're gaining another 50% on top of those 100 master nodes. So you could see how they can go from being fairly inexpensive to the smallest one to
Right.
very
And so
expensive.
what is the initial, what's the minimum? What's the smallest NFT going to mint for, and what would the largest NFT? What is the range between those?
Well, the issue with answering that question is it depends on when we are able to launch those, because it's going to be based on the token price, because
So that's
all of
you're
it.
minting in tokens, not in Ethereum, or
Say it again.
say the people would be using the real token um to mint these NFTs.
Well, I'm not sure how Chris Sue actually has it planned technically, but it's the price of the token changes the sustainability. So, for instance, if the token price is at instead of $30 a token, if it goes to $1,000 a token, if if the NFT that only raises at 5% for just one single node was only, let's say, $500. That's not proportional now, because the token's selling for $5,000 a token. So whatever the price of the token is going to kind of change the price of the NFT. So I guess the idea would be to, when the NFTs come out, you'd want to buy them as early as possible. As the
Right.
price of the token raises, you're getting a steal, just like it is,
Right. So, and you
same.
said that they are going to be available at launch. So, if they're available at
Yeah.
launch
No, they're not available at launch. Pat, if you don't mind, I'll
oh,
just jump in real quick
Yeah, yeah.
about the
yeah, go
NFTs.
ahead, Cuzzo.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
bud. Yeah, with conversation with Chris again. Chris is the one who will be working on this one and launching. And as far as I know, the mechanism of this is that the NFTs are not available at launch. They will come few weeks after launch. And as far as what their functionality is, that they are designed to provide boost to your existing nodes. Okay, so the maxed amount of NFTs that you could attach to one node is 2. And don't quote me on this one, but I think it was like a 25% bump on your current node outputs. So the reason the price of the NFT is it cannot be revealed at this time because the token price have to be taken into account. Then you have to do a calculation as to if someone was to attach 2 NFTs to their, a larger node, what kind of pressure does that put it on the project and can that be sustained? So,
Right.
but at the same time, if you were able to price the NFT accordingly, taking that price and injecting into your bots where you could sustain the extra rewards that will be given out to those NFT holders. But I cannot speak at this point what the NFT price would be or if they will be mintable by the tokens. I would say at this point, if you press me on it, they're probably going to be in Ethereum. You're going to have to buy them. They're probably not going to be mintable with the tokens, but that could change. I hope that answers that question and clears things up.
Perfect. That answered it perfectly, man. And just personally speaking, I would hope that they were minted in Ethereum because that money is going back into the bots and everything else. You don't want to create a selling situation
That's correct.
by
And then
minting them in the tokens. So yes, that's
correct.
perfect. That's perfect answer, man. Perfect. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kozo.
No problem.
All right, so moving past the NFTs, let's get to the last part. The most, my favorite part, is the arbitrage bots. Um, so you are creating different LP pairs from the top 51 tokens on Ethereum. Okay, that could be Shiba, that could be Doge, that could be whatever. Um, how are those tokens chosen? And I love the fact that there is a stop loss feature because that answered my question. If something rugs, what happens? So there's a stop loss feature, but obviously, if somebody just rips liquidity, that stop loss isn't going to work at all. Um, so how are these tokens chosen? Obviously, being an arbitrage bot, you want them to have more volatility. So would they mainly be meme tokens against stable tokens, or meme tokens against like wrap BTC? How do you want to? How are you going to do that?
So the idea is the top 51 tokens is what we're starting with. There's enough volatility in just the top 51 tokens um, for especially with the buy pressure being pumped in, and the sale portion um, of the launch, and then expand from there. Right? We can then do 100. So we do want volatility, but we want safety as well, right? So it's how you
Right.
balance the two, right? That's the main thing. So we're going to start with 51 and then branch out from there. But we will have quite a few stable tokens in there as well, because when people sell, they're usually going to sell for stable tokens and then transfer it to whatever exchange that's connected to their bank account and cash the money out, right? So that
Right.
will cause that trading pairing to go down. Ideally, everyone would sell with, let's say, USDC, driving that pairing down all the time, while we're pumping into Ethereum, the ETH pairing all the time, and so you always have that arbitrage, that gap going in a circle, right? So
Right.
that would be ideal, but it's some people will sell for different tokens. It's not gonna be perfect, but it'll be something similar to that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And you get where I'm coming from as far as the like the meme token versus the stable token, the volatility creates. There's a
Yes.
lot more opportunity, if
Yeah,
you were
we
to
can't.
pair with something like Floki
Yeah.
or Shiba or
Right.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. The whole principle was built off of uh, other tokens besides stable tokens. Otherwise, it doesn't
Right.
work. Right.
Oh,
Because you.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't arbitrage stables. I mean, you
No.
can, but you need millions and millions of dollars.
Right. Right. So the idea is based off of the volatility of the top 51 tokens, but and there's enough of volatility if you take into account the amount of money that we're going to be pumping in. Um, I mean, to give you a better idea, always adding more income streams. We've built a affiliate marketing uh, program where we're going to be pumping that money into converting it to crypto, pumping it into the buy and burn. Every I'm always adding new streams of revenue that my team doesn't want me to bring up to confuse more people. But
Well,
but
I'm interested in the affiliate marketing thing because obviously, I could be an affiliate. So I'd kind of like to know how that would work, but we don't have to get into that right now. First things first. Let me. So how many pairs do you initially plan to start with, and
51.
How much are you going to put into each liquidity pool initially?
So you don't have to put that much into each liquidity pool if you're going to have a large amount of buy and burn. It depends on how many miners we have when we launch. So if we have more miners, if, I'll give you an example. We're in works with somebody that could possibly donate, not donate, but uh, be a VC and buy the $2 million worth of miners we really need to set it up. In that case, maybe you only need to start with 100 grand worth of liquidity. You put $1,000 in all the pairs. You put a higher amount in an ETH and real, and then you do the buy and burn with just ETH and real. And let the bot start going nuts. And if you have a big sell, you have a big sell, but you're pumping in 25 grand a day just off of that BTC, or it doesn't have to be BTC. We'll mine whatever anybody wants to provide us miners with, right? So, but it'll be converted to Ethereum and then pumped in. So that number will depend on the ratio of buy and burn,
Mm-hmm.
because that's lower, then we need more liquidity, right? So.
All right. Okay. So yeah. Well, that brings up something else then, I guess. So the miners, you're not strictly going to mine Bitcoin. It can be changed. Now, are the miners capable of mining, different things? Like, I think the most profitable mine token was Kava. So like
Kadena?
what? How are you? I think it was Kava, Kava.
Okay.
Um, and so how are you guys planning on deciding on what's being mined at the time if you are going to switch back and forth?
So if it depends on what type of miners they are. If they're ASIC
Right.
miners, they're only generally going to be just some ASIC miners, for
Bitcoin.
instance, like Ethereum ones can do whatever is on the Ethereum like little grouping, right? So you can change those if you want to, but it's whatever we're going to have. Keep in mind, we're opening this up to anybody who wants to run their miners at our facility. So we can mine whatever they want to mine, and then just split the tokens. So different miners
Mhm.
might be mining different things, and we'll have
Right.
people in charge of optimizing that, right? So far we have everything in BTC, right? So we have like 49 or 50 miners, I think, right now, and they're set up to mine BTC. So that's what we have right
I mean,
now.
BTC is the the traditional mine token, obviously, or coin, but it does take the most energy to mine.
Right.
But
Right.
as you said, that's all free right now. There's zero overhead, so everything that's being mined is 100% profit. So, um,
Free is probably
how do
not the
you?
right word, but it's been taken care of uh in the system that we have. It's not a factor. Um,
Right,
you know what I mean? It's not something that the company has to
right.
come out
So
of
is
pocket
this?
for.
So it's not out of pocket, but is this person being compensated in nodes or
They're, they,
something like
they
that?
yeah,
You don't have to. I mean, if there's
they
an NDA, whatever, you don't have to disclose it, but just say,
no,
yes,
they've
they're
been
being compensated.
yeah, of course, we've had to compensate anybody that has brought something to the table, but he's also purchased into the to
Yeah.
nodes, right? So
Okay.
it's a little bit of both, right? Um, but that's how you get it to work, is partnerships, right? So that's why we're offering the partner nodes right now for like the point of the partner nodes are for VCs, right? So
Yeah.
somebody who's gonna or companies, somebody who wants to partner with you, and
And the partner nodes are $100,000, correct?
um, the prices have changed a few. I don't have it
I
memorized,
think that's the
but
last graphic I had was the partner was
I think
100K,
that's
the
right. Yeah.
founders was 200K,
Yes.
um,
Yeah, because
and
it's
then I think
$20 as 5,000 tokens. So yeah, that's right.
yeah, okay, all right, okay, that's perfect. That makes sense. And let's see, I think we have covered just about everything. If there's anything that you think I have missed, go ahead and shoot that out, and then I will open it up for questions from the community.
I can maybe let Cuzzo or Hulk or anybody else wanna say their part. I
I
think
mean,
you asked some good.
I did have a question for Fran, but I think she had to go deal with some stuff. So, um, basically, what the future marketing plans were. How do you plan to market this to people? How do you plan to market this to people to get them to, try to, use the facility to mine? Like, where are you
That's been
pulling the,
difficult. Yeah, that's been the
right?
difficult part because people think it's too good to be true. So from like a basic standpoint, that was difficult. But we did get in a few of our AMA rooms. We got some connections to some people in the mining community, and I've reached out to them,
Let me
and we've started working on some individuals. But Fran's also talked to some VCs that are in the mining industry, and she's working on trying to close the deal with just one specific person that would grant us, the entire amount. So
Yeah.
that would be more of a question for her.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know there was talks about somebody that was willing to do the whole 2 million.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there's a
I
convention
know.
too in Dubai in a few weeks that we are planning on going to if we aren't at a certain number, and there'll be plenty of VCs at that ETH convention as well. So
Hey, Papa, just for the
Okay.
record, I could try to summarize what usually Fran would say. So
yes,
Yeah.
if that helps.
Yeah,
Well,
that works.
um, this is a different type of project where the marketing aspect it's tricky because what she is looking into, of course, you guys are already talking about the miners part. That's going to be big because why is it important? Because if you guys read between the lines, you understood that the volume is key in this project. The more volume this has, uh, the better the rewards, better the arbitrage, better the front run. So she has been concentrating on partnerships at the higher level, whether it's miners, whether it's some of the biggest projects or influencers where people have the capacity to purchase higher nodes, bring in that the money that's needed to crank up the bot even higher. So anything that she's working on, whether it's on all the conferences that she spends about 6 months out of the year traveling to, and connecting with those huge projects like Nilian that the team tried to do when they were in London. Some of the other things that she's working on. So her whole thing is about a Web2, Web3. But that doesn't mean that she's negating anything like that that we're all used to, as far as the normal influencers in Telegram or on Twitter, as far as cranking up the socials, whether on doing some YouTube videos or TikToks or any like that, or Facebook or WhatsApp groups. So she's looking into all of that stuff, but it's being targeted based on as the marketing budget is allocated now, because right now the push and the concentration is on bring in as much as money that the project can, so it could be used into the bots, into the liquidity, and then the chart will speak for itself. The people making money will speak for itself, and then you can leverage those things with some of the venture capitalists, whether some of the biggest projects that they may have some treasuries that they want to invest into, bring in some other passive income to their projects. So this is all she's been working on some of the biggest partnerships that we can think of. I know this is what she would say, but in her own words. Hopefully that helped.
No, no, man, that's perfect. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I think, getting this out there, especially on the mining side, getting this out there to those people and projects that, are mining and offering that as passive income, because there are other projects that are, trying to use the same model as far as mining crypto and offering passive income to their holders. I think those people especially would be great to reach out to, because they do not have the capabilities to cover the energy costs and create enough profit to actually put back into their tokens. Big dreams, little money.
Yeah,
So
100%. I mean, the word is getting out, and I'll just say, like, I advise on a couple other smaller projects. But the first question is, like, okay, I don't have a income stream of my own project, or maybe I'm a meme or whatever. But should I be investing in something that could bring in some money that I could do buybacks every day on a project? So this sort of thing would appeal to different type of entities than we're normally used to.
right, 100%. And these miners, they only cost well, I think which the miners that you were using cost probably about 2 to 3K. Um, the ones that you were specifically using for the terahash number. So yes, you can find them a little cheaper if you were to buy them secondhand, but it's that's still rough going through all that. Um, so yeah, the miners, they're relatively cheap, but the energy consumption. So anybody would benefit from, taking or buying some miners and putting them in your facility to mine, and, kind of splitting some of that profit. So,
Yeah,
it is a great benefit to a lot of people and to the project as well.
we need help from people like yourself who knows people, not for free, of course, like you would deserve compensation yourself, but getting the word out there that this is not a scam, this is not somebody hitting you up on Telegram. Like this, they can come visit the facility, they can check it out in person, and uh, that's really the main thing, is making those connections, right? So
Yeah, 100%, man. That's I actually stated this in another group just last night. Making it in this space is dependent on making those connections. It's all in who you know, and your actions. So, that's how people make it in this space. So that's
yeah,
and the projects included. Um, you can't, as you learned from V1, you launched not having those connections and not having, the resources that you do now.
Right. Not even
And
close. Not even close.
right.
Night and
So, you
day.
know, the V1 is a very big example of what I just said. You know, you need to make it in this space, you have to have those connections. And now you do. So that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I know a few people around the space myself. So you know, we can talk after this, and you know, maybe I can put you in touch with some people that might need those services as far as the mining side goes, especially.
Yeah, and it gets more collaborative and more collaborative. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
So
Hey,
you guys,
friends, back. But hey, let's yeah, let me open this up for questions for the community real quick, and then we will wrap this up because I've got something in about 20 minutes that I got to go to.
Sounds good.
So, does
so
anybody in the community, any of the listeners, have any questions? One at a time. Just go ahead and unmute, but one at a time.
yeah, I do. Again, Robert here.
Hey, Robert. There we go.
Um, so you had talked about like marketing and getting other people like getting it out there. Do you have a beta out there of like snippets from the DAP showing how it like works and stuff? And then something I've noticed that's pretty simple. You said you could have people come out and verify the facility and stuff, but I mean you could do a quick tutorial video of this is what it is. This is these are going here as it's being built. Excitement going on, facility being built up. You got snippets of the DAP in progress. It brings more attention, and those are very shareable items to be broadcast through all social networks.
You're absolutely right. In fact, we've done that. In fact, on this chat right after you had your question, I posted some pictures of what the DAPS looks like. With the version 1, 2, there's a third version coming out. So I gave you a couple pictures. We have a video of what the new DAPS going to look like that's coming out soon. There's a video of us talking to the electrician, showing the facility, and setting miners up on the rack. So all of that, you're absolutely right, and we've started doing that. So you nailed it. You hit it right on
That's
the head.
awesome.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, man,
You could
obviously
find that video.
people listening to the recording can't see the pictures of the DApp, and I was hoping somebody would share the screen because this is on a video recording. I was hoping somebody would share the screen to show those, but it's a little late in the game for that now. But it does look very clean. I do like the look of that, so kudos to that.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to post, at some point, I'm going to post a link to, I haven't uploaded the video to YouTube that we're making right now, which kind of walks through the function of the DAP, of how each thing works. We've got that coming very soon. So I'll link that to your page as soon as that's ready to go. And then I'll post here in a few minutes a little video of us at the facility.
Perfect. And what else was I going to say? Maybe a video of the test net, the front run bot going. I'm sure everybody's seen a front run bot go, but just the arbitrage bot, between the liquidity pairs, show on the test net how that's going.
Absolutely.
But so the arbitrage bot, that's going to run automatically, except for when you switch from one liquidity pair to another. Like, obviously you're not going to, how many pairs are you going to run at the same time?
So it's set up to do as many as we want to. We could change that amount. But it's set up
initially with what you have currently, with what you have raised currently, you're going to run 51 pairs all at once currently with what you have raised. So
Yes,
you're looking
we're
to
going to
put
raise
about
more, but yes.
right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying with what you have currently got at about 268,000, 51 pairs, and some of that 200 some thousands going into the front run bot, the mining.
Well, that's not all the money that we have raised isn't all the money that we have. I'll put it that way. Um,
Okay.
we have more money that we personally like the liquidity we pulled,
Right. Yeah.
uh, and more money that myself and Carl, my co-founder, are putting in of our own money. And
Right. Well,
then
just about how much into each pairing are you looking to put in? I know you don't have to put in too much, just a rough number about how much initially would you put into each pairing.
it depends on the buy and the burn, but I would want to set up a larger number with one pair and then a smaller number with the other pairs, and then
Okay.
do the buyback and burn in that one larger pair, and that activates the rest of it. But it would be somewhere in the neighborhood um, of maybe 20% of 150,000. Let's say we start with 20% in the ETH and real liquidity pair, and then the rest itemized out evenly would be
Okay.
one scenario. But again, it depends on the buy and burn. If we don't have that much, then we need more liquidity.
Right. Yeah, no, 100%. I just, kind of wanted to get it out there, like how much, just initially starting off, because that's obviously that's what people are looking for is what is going to happen right at launch.
Right.
That's, they know what the plans are for afterwards to keep building, but just right at launch, what is to be expected. So that's kind of where I was going with that.
Hopefully,
All right,
I
so
answered that question okay. I don't know if I usually answer that question well or not, but I try. I tried.
I mean, yeah, it's I mean, I got the gist of it. So does anybody else have any questions from the community? I know this is a lot of it's a really big numbers game going on.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a
And
question, Papa.
yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Hey, so how close are you to fulfilling what you want to raise? What's your time frame on launch? Are you thinking in a week, maybe 2 weeks, a month? Like, do you have any idea on that part?
Yeah, we can launch right now. What we want and what we need are two different things. Like we have what we need to launch right now, but we've got this momentum, like to where we're really starting to pick up the raise, right? So I would say a couple weeks is the time frame roughly. It could be sooner, it could be later, but it's not. We're getting real close. Um, it's
So is it based kind of on like a set dollar amount you have in mind that you want to raise? I think what Papa said you're at like 268. Are you hoping to get to 5 or 1 million, or do you have a goal?
there's the thing is there's a lot of moving parts. So the goal has to take into consideration if we've got this VC that's going to invest in the amount for the miners. Because if he does, then like we don't need another dollar. That's it. We're ready to. We can rock and roll right now. Like there's no point in waiting a second, right? So if that doesn't happen, then the whole landscape changes, and we would need to, um, then there would be, it would be like I'm trying to raise, 500,000 total plus whatever we have to put in, plus the liquidity that was pulled. Um, then it would be more of like a dollar figure. So there's a lot of moving parts. Just kind of how this intricate this whole thing works is kind of also how the launch is working too. I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but that's
Yeah,
the
that's
best way.
good, man. Another thing you said when you were doing your introduction at the very beginning, and sorry, I'm at work and I've been trying to listen as closely as possible, but Um, you said that the arbitrage bot, you had already tested it and it made, or the guy that made the bot tested it and it made, you said, what was it, 26 or 54 ether or something? Is that right?
67, 67 ETH.
67,
That's
67 ETH
incredible.
off of just
That's
a couple of liquidity pairs, not even
I
off of
do
the
know the
full.
developer, and I do know the developer that made this bot.
that's
Yeah,
incredible, man.
he's special. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he made it
And the
in 8 days.
wow. And now the project you were talking about earlier, that you said that you were reaching out to the guy and offering him maybe solutions or different possibilities. Did you say the name of that project?
Oh yeah, Strong Block, and it was
Okay.
David Moss. David
Okay.
Moss is the CEO.
That's funny, man, because I was considering investing in Strong Block maybe a year ago or something and decided not to. And looks like I'm glad I didn't.
Yes, good choice not to. I'm glad I did because I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't. So I'm glad I went through that personally, um, and that happened so that way I could be here to do this right now because I wouldn't be here if that didn't happen. So
Well, man, I'm kind of in a similar situation, man. I've been in since 17, about 6 years, and I missed a few. I didn't sell at the top. I missed a few great opportunities, and I'm kind of looking for the third. The third time's a charm, kind of like your situation. I mean, turning 20 grand into 4 million, dude. That's amazing. Congratulations, man.
yeah, but then I lost it all on strong block. But yes, thank you. It was hard work, and I took a lot of losses to get there. It wasn't. I don't want to make it sound better than it was. Like the first three shots I took, or sorry, the first two shots I took, I did poorly. Right, so there was a learning curve, but I had I have a knack for numbers. I'm a numbers guy, and I picked up on reading tracking wallets was kind of my formula for success, and it worked out pretty well for me. So thank you. But I'm glad that it failed where it did, so I could be here today with you guys.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for your time, and
Absolutely.
thanks for all the great information, man. Look forward to talking to you in the future.
Me too. Absolutely.
Thank you, Pop. A great AMA as always, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it to this one. Like I said, man, I really am bullish about this project. I might come off as a dick sometimes, but that's just how I talk. So,
Oh, I
um,
like your questions. I've been waiting for people to like ask me tough questions to make me think. I don't want to lose people's money. I don't want there to be any risk. You know what I mean?
right.
So if I haven't thought of anything, please tell me.
Yeah, man, 100%. And I'm sure you've heard me before in some MMKK AMAs. I don't often get too much of a chance to speak in those, but yeah, I don't sugarcoat anything. I get straight to the point, and that's just I think that's the best route to go.
Yep.
It's ask me anything, and I will. I'm gonna
Yes.
ask you all the questions. I'm not here to hold hands. I'm not here to sugarcoat. You just need to have the answers.
Yep.
So
It is called an Ask Me Anything. You were absolutely right. Good point.
perfect. So if nobody else has any questions, I will ask one final question, but I'll let anybody else go first.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Dean, go ahead.
Yeah,
Ask a
yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah. Actually, it's a really nice project. I must commend you guys because I love the concept. After reading through the project, I saw you guys have great concept and amazing utilities. But actually, I'm so sorry. I was a little bit late to the AME, so I really don't know if you guys touch on my question. Like, when building such a complex project where you have to address so many different areas in order to be successful and being well known in the space, because I see the name of the project, it's really amazing. So which part of this entire undertaking is the most difficult and stressful for you? Like, I don't know if you get the question. Where are the biggest challenges? Is it stuff like software development, security, competition, or market trends? You get my question, brother?
That's a good question. What keeps me up at night, like what am I most worried about and stressed about, is other people just not wanting to, hype up this project because I believe in it 100%, and then have it fail for some reason because I didn't think of something. I don't think that that's possible, and I've done everything in my power to make sure that that isn't possible. But that's what I struggle with the most. That would be my biggest fear, is to lose other people's money. I'm okay losing I don't want to lose my own money, but I'd much rather lose my money than somebody else's money.
Okay, bro. That's really amazing. So I think I'm
Good
just gonna
answer.
cut it off there. It's a really great answers. Thanks very, very. Thanks for the opportunity, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question, man, and great answer. Investors always come first, so that is the biggest worry. Should be the biggest worry for any developer, anybody launching a project, is the investors' funds.
Yes.
So
That's
that
what keeps
was
me
a
up at
perfect
night.
answer, man.
That keeps me up at night. Let me tell you.
All right, so I'm gonna take a page out of somebody else's book, I know, and I'm not gonna ask this specific question, but I am gonna ask, what is your favorite kind of pizza?
Me personally,
Yep.
my favorite kind of pizza. I would say I'm more of a East Coast, Ray's, New York. I would say pepperoni and mushroom.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, you had me until you said mushrooms, but
I could go without the mushrooms.
you're all good.
Mushrooms.
No, you're good, man. Hey, to each their own. I wanted an honest answer, and I got it. So thank you.
Mushrooms isn't 100% of the time, though. Sometimes I don't feel like mushrooms, so it depends on the day.
Perfect. All right. So I am going to stop the recording real quick, and then we can. I had somebody coming. Let me just stop the recording. Anybody else have a question real quick before we end this? Hey, DS is in the house. What's going on, man?
Oh man, just homesick in bed.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that sucks, dude. Yeah. So yes, this AMA has gone for 2 hours now. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'm gonna end the recording right now. Everybody else, stick around for a second.